What's up, you guys? Thank you for joining me on Every Ray Living. You already know it is your girl Rayette. Welcome. As always, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day or night, allowing me to talk you through whatever you're doing, whatever you're going through. And speaking of doing, I hope you guys aren't doing anything but getting relaxed, comfortable, going to grab you a snack, going to grab you something to drink, and just relax and get comfortable because we're just going to hang out, talk about some things, and just vibe out. So, like I said, get comfortable. And if you don't want to hear all the mumbo jumbo and you want to get off into the things that we're going to be talking about, you can fast forward past this because all I'm going to be doing is just talking to you guys, asking you how was your Memorial Day weekend, what did you do, and all that. But if not, welcome and let's get into it. But I want to give you a quick synopsis before I talk about a couple things that I think you will want to know or you should know, or I just want to share with you anyways. Just to give you a quick synopsis of some of the things we're going to talk about. One thing I'm finding that I'm liking doing is having some note cards because it kind of keeps me on track with things that we can talk about. And so I'm not getting off track talking about one thing and when I should be talking about another. And so, again, if you guys have any suggestions, the things you want to talk about or whatever, don't be afraid to put them in the comments below. Keep them nice, cute, and respectful. And remember when I said there will be people who DM me or message me to talk about things? Surprise, I got some. I had one person ask me, and I'm not going to put anybody's name on blast because if you're DMing me, you're doing it for a reason. What that reason is, I don't know, but we'll keep it between me and you. She wants me to do longer videos, so I will work on that. In my mind, I feel like I talk long anyways, so I don't feel like that's a hill to climb. But I also know people just don't want to be hearing people talk for hours and hours and hours. But I will be talking about things that I think are interesting. At least I think they're interesting. So if you have any comments or anything you want to talk about or whatever, go ahead. Don't be one of those silent watchers. You watch it, but you're not saying anything, but you want to say something. Do it. Even if you have to message me, I will not disclose who you are if you want to talk about something. So a couple things we're going to talk about in no particular order. Why will people like but won't like it? Specifically social media. You can post something and they'll like it, but they refuse to hit that like button to let you know they like it. And that can be relative to anything. So we're going to get off into that. And like I said, in no particular order, what are your plans for the summer? What have you been putting off that you're finally going to do this summer? And why have you been putting it off? And we're going to talk about that. And then people placing you in a box, in my opinion, of why people do that. So we're going to get off into that here in a minute. But before we do that, I want to talk to you guys about my t-shirts. Briefly, I'm just going to give you a quick summation of how and why the new logo came about. I don't want to spend too much time on that because I'm going to dedicate a whole video to that at some point. But this is one order, but it's going to 3 different people. And so I want to show you the shirts. Now, you've seen the Every Ray Living shirt because I've done reels on them. If you follow me on YouTube, TikTok, you've seen this particular logo. Now, you started out seeing the balance, bonus, and birth with this being on the front. But now, the balance, bonus, and birth, go in balance, in bonus to birth what you're called to do, all that's on the back. You can get into whatever font you would like, whatever color. You can get the t-shirts in whatever color, size, you name it, you can get it. The lips can be in whatever color. The red lipstick can be in whatever color you want that. It's just up to you. This is my personal shirt. Like I said, you can get this in whatever color you want. I just got it in white because I just feel like this pops a little bit more. If you even want your lips with glitter on it, you can do that as well. There's nothing I can't do. Nothing you can't do with these shirts that we can't make come to life for you. And if you're wondering how much they are $40. And it's okay if you feel like it's too much for a t-shirt. I'm not mad at that because in my mind, you're not paying for this t-shirt. You can't pay for God's anointing and God's word and how it'll uplift you. And that's what I want to talk to you about really quick. Balance, boldness, and birth. I did a video on this years ago, how that came about. But in January of 2018, I was praying. It was January 1. You know how it is. We start our New Year's off praying with our resolutions, so on and so forth. But I brought my year in like I always do, praying. And when I was praying, those words was being downloaded to me, and not any particular order. So when it hit me, I stopped in mid prayer, got a note card, and wrote down the year and the words, and then I would go back and pray, and then boldness came to me again, not in any particular order. And then when I was all done praying, it just hit me. I felt him saying, go in balance with boldness to birth what you're called to do. And did I create those words? No, but that was created for me to do, because prior to doing this, I was talking about starting a YouTube channel. So much so that my mom was like, when are you going to start that channel? You've been saying you're going to do it. You haven't done it yet. And she passed in 2019. And so even before she passed, I was still thinking about doing it, but I didn't, because I was fearful of what I would look like on camera. Would I be perceived? And you just have all these things that you think about when you're presenting yourself to a whole bunch of people you don't know, opening yourself up to a whole bunch of people you don't know. But I'm so glad I did it, because I started my podcast first. And I think that kind of got me warmed up, even though, as you can tell, I don't have a problem with communicating. But it opened me up to understanding that when I'm doing my podcast, even though I have had people on my podcast with me, it opened me up to just talking basically what seems like to myself. And it made me, get comfortable with, you may not have one person watching or listening, but if you're doing what you love to do, you don't care about that. You now, don't get me wrong, it's nice to see people are engaging and watching your videos and liking your videos and maybe even sharing them, whatever. But you have to be okay and comfortable with, if not one person is watching, you're doing what you love to do. And if you're only talking to that one person, that's okay too, because that one person might need whatever it is you are saying or doing for that day. And that's how I look at it, because I enjoy watching YouTube videos from people that are my age, older and younger, because I truly get inspired by everyone, especially people that are doing positive things or things that I wish I had have done when I was younger. It's inspiring. So that's where that came from. And so I said, I'm going to do a t-shirt. And that's where it started, with the Balance, Boldness, and Birth t-shirts. And it was uneasy. I was feeling some type of way about doing it. But when I first got them, they sold. And again, yes, it is nice to get 1 million people buying your stuff and so on and so forth. But I even came up with the motto, I don't need a lot of ones. I just need the right ones, because the right ones you're going to produce. I have this one order with 3 people getting it. And not only are they getting the shirts, my oils that I wear and I put on myself, so on and so forth, they're getting those. I have to finish packaging those or whatever. And that's going out tomorrow. So anyways, getting back to that. So the lips is about what you speak. Whatever you say, it's going to come or it's not going to come. It just depends on what you're saying. The Bible says, what goes in your mouth is not nearly important as what comes out of it. Okay? Because what you put in your mouth is going to come out. You're going to expel that. But what comes out of your mouth is what's in your heart. So when the Bible says what a man thinketh in his heart, so it is he. What you believe about yourself and you say it out loud, that's what it is. And so the lips came with me understanding that the power comes out of our mouth. More importantly, when I was younger, I think early high school, maybe I was in 8th grade. I think I was in 8th grade. We used to call it the Square Fair. And I remember I had on this red lipstick, and I had to grow into my lips, because they're full. They're not the biggest lips you've ever seen, but I just remember having on my lipstick thinking I'm cute or whatever. And I remember this guy was like, well, it was a boy because we was all young. I just remember coming around the corner from wherever I was walking. And I just remember him saying, dang, look at her lips. But it didn't sound like he was meaning it mean. But because I was thinking I was cute with my red lipstick on, I took it like, ooh, maybe my lips look too big with this red lipstick, because red lipstick was my thing. But anyways, so I stopped wearing red lipstick, not because of that, because I just got to the point where I like lip gloss and so on and so forth. But I, got back to wearing red lipsticks when I stopped coloring my hair. And as you guys know, my hair is silver all the way through. There's no coloring. It is silver. And I remember my daughter had put some braids in my hair, and I had my red lipstick on, and I thought, I look bomb. I look amazing. And it was just something about that red lipstick, me being okay and secure with my lips. And I've been secure with my lips. It was just something about when he said when he just said her lips. I don't even remember what he said. I just remember feeling like, was he saying something negative about my lips? Because I was always complimented on having nice lips, even as I was, in high school and so on and so forth. But when you're young and you're still trying to figure out who you are and all that, any little thing somebody say, you're going to take it personal. But anyways, but just fast forwarding, just coming to terms with my silver hair, rocking the red lipstick, and being cognizant of what comes out of my mouth, it just was fitting. It just made sense. So this, oops, I bet my time. This is where that comes from. And your girl is thirsty. Again, shout out to my cousin. I did a video. She made these cups. And what I didn't realize when I was making the video to shout her out, the little straw comes with it with the little red. I don't know if you can see it. This is what it looks like in its entirety. And the lips, I wanted that. But anyways, I didn't realize this came with it until I took it out the box. And I was so hyped about my little cup. And I got a million of these kind of cups, but this cup is what's up, okay? And it keeps your stuff so cold. So shout out to my cousin Annie, one of my best investments. But yeah, this is where the t-shirt comes from. And so it's encouraging and inspiring you as well as myself. Go in balance with boldness to birth what you're called to do. And so I had I just really took so much, I don't even know the word I'm looking for, pride in creating this shirt. And there's more to come. I've sold so many shirts, tank tops like these, lounge shorts, socks. I got it all. So if you want it, it is professionally made. Like, I'm not in a room ironing this stuff on. Shout out to people who can do it, but it's just not me. I'm not doing all that. These are professionally made. So, if you want one, let me know. If not, no pressure. I just want to let you guys know, give you an idea of why the lipstick, the lips, and all that. And the everyday living is just self-explanatory. It's just my everyday life. Me being real, me being honest, as I can, without doing the absolute most. I mean, you guys don't know me. I don't know you. I don't owe it to everyone to, hey, let me just tell you every little thing about me so you can feel normal or identify. I just think that's, we don't have to be on here telling our whole life story to people just so people can relate to us. We're human. We all can relate to one another because we've all been there and done that. Even if we haven't done those exact same things, we know someone who has. And I just get on here and just do me. I don't try to be more or less. I just get on here, do me, and have fun doing it. And if I mess up doing it, great. If I don't mess up and it's all perfect, even better. But at the end of the day, I'm just doing me and what I love. And if you like it, I welcome you to come and stay. And I want to encourage you while I'm encouraging myself, and we just do it together. And if you watch any of my videos, they're kind of consistent to everything that I'm saying now. Not kind of, they are. When I go on little vacations, little trips or whatever, I take you guys with me. Not because I'm in Greece doing all these things, because you don't have to be going all over the world to enjoy your life. It is nice to do, but if you can't afford to do all those things, I show things that you can do in your local city that are fun. I enjoy spending time with myself, so I don't always feel like I need an entourage. I don't always feel like I need someone else. It is nice when I'm with my friends and we're hanging out and we're going and doing all the things, but there comes a time in your life, and there will come a time in your life, you're going to be in an isolation season. You're not going to have fallen out with your friends. It's just going to be a season where you don't need nobody around. You're going to enjoy your own company, going to the park, reading a book, taking yourself to get ice cream or coffee or whatever, and coming home and calling it a day. And you're going to feel like you had a whole day playing with someone else, but you just was hanging out with yourself, you know. But anyway, let's get into these note cards so I don't take too much of you guys' time talking about a lot of different stuff. So let me lead with, why will people like it but won't like it? Sometimes people are okay with just skimming through something. Now, you don't need to take it personal every time you post something or you do something, somebody's not liking it and they're hating on you. Because let me say this and let me hold your hand. Everyone isn't hating on you. Just because they're not liking it and all that, they just might not like it. It has nothing to do with you. And sometimes people can like something and keep it moving. They don't always have to say anything. But on the other side to that coin, when you're doing something or you have done something and you're getting a lot of likes from people that you don't know, but not likes from people you do know, and you can visibly see they're looking at it and you know they like it, but you're trying to figure out, well, why didn't they acknowledge it? Don't try to figure it out. You can keep it in your mental Rolodex. You can, marinate on it for a hot second, but don't get wrapped up in it. Because for every time you're looking at somebody that's not liking it, you're not paying attention to the people who are acknowledging it and liking it. And sometimes you got to get okay if nobody likes it, as long as you like it. But when we post things because we do want people to like it. We do want people to comment. And you have to consider the source. You know what I mean? You have to look at who's liking it, why they're liking it, not why they're liking it, because it can be a why to why people doing things. But if strangers are liking your stuff, but not somebody that's close to you or your friend or whatever, I would look at that a little sideways and, might bring it to their attention. But at the same time, you got to be okay with what you're doing and liking what you're doing, and appreciate the people who are. Appreciate the people who are showing up and stepping up for you. That's why I say I don't need a lot of ones. You don't need a lot of ones. You just need the right ones. Because a lot can be subjective. You know what I mean? A lot to you may not be a lot to me, and vice versa. We want a lot of people loving and liking our stuff. So you get 1 million people loving and liking your stuff. But you do one thing wrong, you got 1 million people telling you how much they hate it, And just going back to that little coffee video I posted on Mother's Day that didn't get all the commentary on Mother's Day, but it got it last week. I had 181,000 views and over 2,100 likes and 66 some people telling me how my coffee was all wrong, which is weird because it's my coffee. It's how I made it. It's how I enjoy drinking it. But I had people really bother how I preferred my coffee. But yet, when they were telling me, my dad said if a woman drinks black coffee, if she don't drink black coffee, don't trust her. Like, I could have commentary on that about how weird that is. Or if I just wanted a cup of tar, like, it wouldn't land the same way if I, in kind, responded, how awful and horrible their way of thinking, how their way of doing it is. It would have just ruffled feathers, the greatest upset. But it seemed like it was the greatest upset by how I did my coffee. And as you can see, I'm still irritated by that because there were people going hard in the paint about why, my coffee was horrible. But again, you're going to have people liking, disliking, loving you one minute, hating you the next. You can't get caught up in that because you will go down a rabbit hole and it will be an abyss to nowhere. So again, I know you're saying, so why will people like it but don't like it? Or they will like it but won't like it. That's just you being aware that it is nice. It is good. But just because they're not saying it, you're not waiting on them to validate and give their approval for what you think is good or not. As long as you like it, you love it, whatever audience is supposed to come is going to follow. I'm not worried about if 1 million people buy these shirts or if one person buys the shirt. These shirts are going to be sold to who wants it. They're going to be where they need to be at the time that they need to be there. Okay. And so that's going to follow up with people placing you in a box. And this is my own opinion. When people have a perception of you, that's where they keep you. So if you've grown up with some childhood friends, or you went to school with some people, and you don't even have to have known them when you were younger, just met them when you were in middle school, and they've known you from middle school to high school, and they've known you all that time. That is a long time to know someone. So they may have you in a box of being, maybe you're an emotional person. Maybe you're a hothead. Maybe you didn't dress that well. Maybe you didn't speak that well. Or, because all they're going to remember is the stuff that really wasn't good by their standards. So they're going to keep you in that box. Little Susie Q who never, wore nice clothes. Or little Susie Q who hair didn't grow past her ears, or little Susie Q who, or whatever, or little Johnny who X, Y, and Z, or little Bob or whatever, little Mikey, whatever. You're going to be in that box. So when you start doing something different outside of what they thought of you or perceived you as, when you start doing that, that makes them uncomfortable. And then they're like, oh, no, you're not supposed to grow out of that box because I had you here. And when you start getting outside of the box that you didn't place yourself in, people respond to you different. They're uncomfortable with you because they are comfortable with knowing you in the way that they've always seen you, they've always thought of you. So when you start stepping out and doing X, Y, and Z, they're looking at you like, oh, as if they didn't expect it. They didn't even consider it. They didn't even think you could or would. Kind of like, think of it like this. If you are a person that always has something going on, and then that friend is the person that's always uplifting you and encouraging you to do better, you have to be cautious and careful with that, because that friend may be coming to you from that standpoint so she can look like, or he can look like, the all-American saver person, but doing that with the intention of thinking you're never going to evolve or get out of that pattern. And then when you do, they don't know how to be friends with you on another level, the other version of yourself. You've evolved past that person that's needy, that's in trauma or whatever. They don't even know how to be friends with you anymore because they only knew how to be friends. They only knew how to be friends with you. I feel like I said that same thing twice. But they only knew how to be friends with you in that setting. So you've evolved. You're stronger. You're not that person that you used to be. You're not, emotionally damaged anymore. You're stronger. Now that friend don't even know how to be friends with the other version of you because they were so okay and so connected with being your friend on that level where you look needy and you look like you weren't ever going to get it, or you weren't ever going to get out of that relationship. They talk to you like they want you to get out of it, but then you go ahead and meet Johnny, and Johnny's treating you like a queen and giving you the life you never thought you would have, and they didn't think you would have. Now they don't know how to be friends with you, because now you got to watch out, because now they're going to say you acted extra. You think you too good, or you're better, or whatever. Those are not your friend. Friends don't put you in a box. Friends make sure they lift you up and encourage you to do and be more. Because one thing you need to be sure of, they're not always that happy for you. If they're your real friends, they're going to help you, encourage you, motivate you. They're not going to have this push and pull type of thing. Give you confidence and encouragement to do it, but then reel it back in with some kind of backhand compliment. Well, it took you long enough. Well, whoever thought you would, that's not your friend. That's somebody who didn't really think you was going to evolve. Get rid of that person. They're a red flag. Your friend is encouraging you, believing in you, giving you things to help you get to that next level. They're not going to wear themselves out trying to help you get to that next level, because you got to want it more than them. But when you do arrive to that point and you do show a different side of yourself and you're there, that friend is going to be like, I knew you could. And looking at you like, okay, so what we doing next? And you know why that friend's going to be able to do it for you and have that kind of happiness for you? Because he or she is going to be operating in that in her own life or his own life. They're going to be accomplishing their goals, doing the things and expecting you to do it too, because they're not looking at you like you can't do it. I have a friend like that. That's how I know. I have a lot of friends, and a lot of friends are in your, not a lot of friends, but I can count on my hand how many close friends I have. And they all bring something unique and special to our friendship. But you will know if they're your real friends and how they talk to you, talk with you, not at you, and they don't put you in a box. They get on you for putting you in a box. They look at you like, well, why can't you? What's holding you back? Well, what do you need to do? That's a friend that want to see you move, okay? That's a friend that don't have you in a box. So when people put you in a box, when you do something that's nice and beautiful and all that, sometimes they won't like. Sometimes they won't even act like they see it because it takes them back. It makes them question themselves and makes them look at you differently. And if they see other people looking at you in a certain type of way, that may jar some feelings. But I'm saying all that to say, those are those people issues. Don't let what someone says or don't say stop you from doing you. And so, like I said, those two kind of tied in together, if that makes sense. We can always circle back if you have any questions or comments, because this is nothing new under the sun. You know, we can talk about this till the cows come home, because again, we all face things where people act a little weird with us for some reason or another. And I want to end on talking about, what are your plans for this summer? Well, I'm excited because in a couple weeks, my good friend who I go out to see every year, she'll be here for about a week or so. And I'm excited because we're going to be getting together and there's going to be a cookout. And hopefully I can get some video and footage of that, because y'all know I'm going to take some videos and some pictures and I'll share those with you. So I'm always excited to see her. I hate that they moved to Florida, but on the other side, I love it because it gives me somewhere to go every summer when the summer comes. So I'm looking forward to that trip, and just some other little things I'm looking forward to throughout the summer, just enjoying it. And it's good to plan things, but it's good not to be so set and planning every little thing, because sometimes, you know, plans can change, you know, and I had to learn this the hard way. And not to make this sad, I just remember I was off for a week, and this was during the time that my mom was sick. So I had a whole week off, and I thought to myself, well, while I'm off during this week, I'm going to do this, and if she has to be in the hospital longer, I'll have this many days off. Even though she was sick, but we didn't know she was sick to where that week that I thought I was going to be doing everything but what I was supposed to be doing, that week was me preparing and planning my mom's funeral. And when I say planning, there was no real planning that needed to be done, because my mom, for the most part, had her stuff in order. So there was nothing really that anyone needed to do but just fill in the blanks in terms of adding extra grandkids if there was some, or if her church changed. But everything was, you know, pretty much done. But I did not expect to be planning a funeral and planning to go to my mom's funeral. So plan as much as you can, but just take it one day at a time, 1 month at a time. And if it's something you want to do this summer that you just been putting off, just do it. Because you're going to be telling yourself you're going to do it next summer, and you're probably not going to do it because you keep putting it off. But I'm just looking forward to enjoying the weather, whether I'm in my hometown, whether I'm out of town. I'm looking forward to spontaneous trips and just having a really nice time. I went to Atlantic City in September. I had a fun summer. I had never been to Atlantic City in my life. Stayed at the Tropicana Hotel. It was beautiful. You know, it was such a fun time and a fun experience. And again, I didn't know, never, you know, went to Atlantic City, but really had a nice time there, you know. And then just a few months ago, we went to Florida, Tampa. And it was so nice because I went to places I hadn't been to Tampa and like hung out and really just taken in every little thing, you know, that I got to take in while I was there. And that was so fun. And we went when it was cold here, and it was actually cold everywhere, but it was actually nice when we got there. So God definitely did his thing with the weather, with us being there. But I'm saying all that to say you can enjoy every season, but summer specifically, because it's hot, you're more, you know, flexible, you know, you don't mind getting out doing stuff because it's not freezing. But you know, there's going to be people that'll complain that it's so hot. But anyways, if it's something you want to do it. Okay? Don't sit there and say, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll do it next year. I don't know. Maybe I need to have 2 or 3 people with me when I do it. No. Do it if you have to do it by yourself. Get okay with taking yourself out to dinner. Get okay with taking yourself out to lunch. Get okay with treating yourself to things. Get okay with buying yourself some flowers. Get okay with doing those things. And the reason I'm saying that is because I've done those things. Yes, I've had men buy me flowers. It's great. It's wonderful. But you know what's even more sexier? When you go out, handpick whatever kind of flowers you want and bring them home to yourself. You cherish them more. I don't know why I can't talk. You'll cherish them more. You'll take care of them more because you invested in them. You invested in them for yourself, and they just bloom better because you bought them. Get okay with saying, I'm taking myself to the movies. If you don't feel comfortable going at night to the movies, go to matinee. I'm not going to lie. I took myself to the movies. It was a while ago. But I have done that. I've done that twice in my life. But you don't have to go to the movies now because almost all the movies you like are right in your living room. But a lot of things that I'm telling you to do, I've done them because who's going to love you better than you? You. And you don't need a man taking you somewhere for the first time and you acting like you ain't never been nowhere because you haven't. But if you take yourself to some of those places, you don't have to be like, this is the first time I've ever been somewhere to eat a steak. No, you can take yourself somewhere to eat a steak, okay? Or whatever that is. So make this summer about doing some things that maybe you've been putting off because you didn't want to do them by yourself. Sidebar, I took a ballroom dancing class by myself. I took my daughter with me, but initially it started out, she was going to have her husband, the dance instructor, teach me, but then I got there and she was like, yeah, we're just going to do it. You and I will do it together. But then her husband ended up dancing with me to show me some steps. It was so fun and it was so nice. But I'm able to say that I did that by myself, you know, with this ankle, do not recommend. But it was fun and it was nice. And I got to say, I did that by myself. And there's a lot of things I enjoy doing by myself that I've done with men. And I want to continue to enjoy doing with men. But if you are single and you constantly waiting on somebody to take you out to eat, you might starve. You might just need to take your own self out to eat. You know, buy yourself that thing you want somebody to buy for you because you'll appreciate it more. And then when someone else buy it for you, yes, you can appreciate it. But guess what? You'll be like, you know what? Thank you that you bought it for me. But you won't feel like because the person did, they laid the golden egg. You laid the golden egg when you bought it for yourself. Or knew that you could, or you were capable of doing it yourself, and you didn't necessarily need that person to do it for you. It's always nice when someone else can spend their money on you and do those things for you. But I think it's even better when you can do it yourself. My mom told me when I got my first car and I bought it myself, she's like, well, don't you feel good that you bought that car yourself? No. I'm always okay if somebody want to buy me a car, okay? But it does because it lets me know I can buy my car on my own. But I don't want to take too much of you guys' time. We are really getting into some things here. And when I say getting into some things, I'm getting into my groove. I'm excited that I got my little note cards. Who knows what's going to be on them next week. But again, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, you want to comment on anything, do not hesitate because here we're all fam. I'm just kidding. But here's a safe place. I was trying to say place and space to talk about whatever. Like I said, keeping it respectful. All all honest. I mean, I welcome if you don't agree or you have an opposing thought or opinion. I welcome that, but we just don't have to be disrespectful to get our point across. So, with that being said, you guys have a good night. Until the next time, we are going to talk about it. Good night.